How's it going, everybody? KG here. Today I'm going to be your guide through this Sony BRAVIA lineup and help you decide which BRAVIA TV to buy. If you've narrowed it down and decided, hey, I want a Sony BRAVIA TV, this is the guide for you. All right, we're going to go from cheapest to most expensive, and make sure you stick around till the end of the video where I'm going to give you some buying advice to help you figure out which one to get. All right, let's start it off with this first one, the Sony BRAVIA 3. This is a basic LED TV, and they call it a direct lit LED TV. This is an entry-level backlight system, and it's going to be very comparable to other TVs within its price bracket. There's not much special here with the BRAVIA 3. This is the only TV in the lineup that is going to be a 60 Hz TV, and it is the only TV in the lineup that doesn't market the XR processor. This is going to have the 4K HDR processor X1, but one great thing about this TV is that it is offered in multiple sizes, so if you need a smaller TV, this could be one way to look, especially if you only need a really cheap bedroom TV. And that's where I would say this TV really fits in. I wouldn't recommend this TV for a living room or really any main room where you're going to be watching your movies in. I do think that there are better experiences than this BRAVIA 3. Alright, so let's go over the prices. The 43-inch is $499, the 50-inch is $599, the 55-inch is also $599, the 65-inch is $649, the 75-inch is $849, and the 85-inch is $1299. Alright, going up, we find ourselves with the X90L. Yeah, I know this is a TV from last year, but Sony did carry it over to be in the BRAVIA lineup this year, and it will be the step up from the BRAVIA 3. We're looking at a full array local dimming TV here, and you're also looking at the refresh rate being 120 Hz, and you have VRR with this TV as well. Two of your ports are going to be HDMI 2.1 up to 4K 120 Hz, so you can see that this is a huge step up from what we were just talking about, the BRAVIA 3. And unlike all the other TVs in this lineup, this TV is also offered in 98 inches. So if you're looking for an ultra large TV and you want a Sony, this is your only choice. Since this is a carryover TV, Sony is being really aggressive with the pricing. As you can see here, these are going to be the prices. 55-inch, $899, 65-inch, $999, 75-inch, $1399, 85-inch, $1799, and 98-inch, coming in at a large price tag of $4,999. Moving up, we see that this is going to be the BRAVIA 7. This is a new TV for 2024, and we are looking at another full array local dimming TV, but this time it's using mini LED technology. This is a more advanced backlight than what was used in the previous TV we talked about, and this allows Sony to give you better picture quality overall. On top of that, this BRAVIA 7 is going to be much brighter than the X90L that we just talked about, so you are going to have better HDR brightness out of this TV and just better brightness in general, no matter what you're watching. So whether you're watching sports, TV shows, movies, you're going to have a very bright experience out of this TV. The BRAVIA 7 will be a significant upgrade over the X90L in terms of picture quality, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Here are what the prices look like for the BRAVIA 7. 55-inch is $1299, 65-inch is $1399, 75-inch is $1799, and the 85-inch is $2499. Alright, going up in the lineup, we have the Sony BRAVIA 8. This is going to be the first time we see OLED TV in their lineup, and this is going to be a good step up from the BRAVIA 7 in terms of contrast. And the reason for that is going to be because it is going to use self-emissive technology. Unlike the last TVs we've talked about, this isn't relying on the backlight technology to mask its problems. Instead, we have a self-emissive display. The OLED technology is going to allow each individual pixel to turn itself off whenever it needs to. So you are going to have amazing contrast with your TV. This is going to make darker scenes within the movies you watch look amazing. And you're not going to be able to get that same experience from an LCD TV. Those same dark scenes will have moments where you will see the TV struggle, and that is because it is using lesser backlight technology within those TVs. One thing you will notice though with the pricing in OLED TVs, which you're going to see here in a second, is that the larger the TV gets, the more you're going to have to pay for it. And that is because OLED technology is more expensive at the higher sizes. But in the 55-inch and 65-inch range, it's going to be about the same as a mid-range LCD TV. So I think if you're in the 55-inch or 65-inch range, an OLED TV really does make sense if you are in this price bracket. But if you're looking for a larger 75-inch or an 85-inch TV, you will see that you get better bang for your buck with the LCD TVs, although you are still lacking the technology that the OLED TV is going to deliver to you. And speaking of prices, let's talk about it. Here are the Bravia 8 prices. The 55-inch is going to be $13.99, the 65-inch is $16.99, and the 77-inch is $25.99. You'll notice that there's not an 83-inch size here, but if you want an 83-inch size, you can get last year's 83-inch A90L still, which Sony did carry over, and that's going to be $3,999. Alright, as we go up in price, we see that the Sony Bravia 9 is here, and this is going to be using Sony's new mini LED technology. This is going to be an improvement from the Bravia 7 in a lot of different categories. So there's no doubt that the Bravia 7 to the Bravia 9 is a better mini LED TV overall. It's just going to really depend on who you are, whether or not it is worth that difference. And I will talk about the Bravia 7 versus the Bravia 9 just right after we talk about the TV after this, the Sony A95L. But I do want to give some praise to the Sony Bravia 9 because it is the brightest TV that Sony has created in this TV lineup. And we are looking at a really awesome TV when it is going to be on full display. There's no doubt about it, the colors look fantastic, the brightness looks fantastic. Everything with this TV is going to be mind-blowing for people that are coming from a lesser TV. And that would be the experience with most of these Sony TVs. But the Bravia 9 does definitely take it up a notch when it comes down to that HDR impact. And that is something that the Bravia 8 can't quite give you. It won't give you the same HDR impact as the Bravia 9, but the Bravia 9 won't give you the same contrast as the Bravia 8. So yes, you sacrifice contrast here, but in turn you do get really good HDR brightness. And I have to say this though, it is still going to have some quirks that a mini LED TV is going to give you. You will see some blooming from time to time, though not as much as other mini LED TVs. And you will notice that the backlight does perform a little weird sometimes, but this is how mini LED TVs and really all full array local dimming TVs are, so I won't dock the Bravia 9 too much there. It is, at the end of the day, a mini LED TV, but it is a really good mini LED TV. And if you don't want an OLED TV and you've decided you want a mini LED TV, this is probably going to be the best one you can get. So with that said, let's take a look at the prices for the Bravia 9. The 65-inch is $26.99, the 75-inch is $34.99, and the 85-inch is $39.99. Moving up the lineup, we have the Sony Bravia A95L QD-OLED TV. Now this is a really special TV. And the reason why the A95L is such a special TV is because it is using quantum dot OLED technology from Samsung Display. In my opinion, this is the pinnacle of TV technology today. No other TV technology is going to give you the combination of brightness, color, and contrast that you're getting out of the quantum dot OLEDs. On top of that, we're seeing cleaner screen uniformity within OLED TVs that we've ever seen before compared to WOLED TVs on the market like the Bravia 8. We also aren't seeing the same anomalies that we see with WOLED TV regarding color and brightness as well. Many of the previous issues within WOLED have been fixed with QD-OLED, and the thing that really sticks out the most over WOLED is just the sheer combination of brightness and color, and let alone color brightness in general. You're not going to find a TV technology that has color brightness as bright as a quantum dot OLED. You're just not going to find it. Not even an LCD TV is going to be able to deliver color brightness this bright. And if you remember, I was talking about the advantages of self-emissive displays when we were talking about the Bravia 8. Well, you get that here with the A95L as well. You're just getting extra advantages on top of that within brightness and color. So all in all, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds with QD-OLED technology. It's almost as if you've mixed an LCD TV with an OLED TV with the strengths and weaknesses in mind. The Sony A95L is an excellent TV, but it does have one thing going against it. It doesn't really competitively price itself compared to other OLED TVs on the market of the same technology. So for that, I do have to call it out. And it is a really good looking TV. But those things matter at the end of the day. So let's take a look at that pricing structure right here. The 55-inch is $24.99, the 65-inch is $29.99, and the 77-inch is $49.99. It's worth noting that the 77-inch rarely goes on sale. It's been $49.99 for a very long time. It's not anywhere near a competitive price. I'm not quite sure why this is. It might have something to do with the supply of the 77-inch A95L, but either way, for the sake of people that want to buy this TV in the 77-inch size, I hope that it lowers so that they can do so, because this is a ridiculous price tag and we all know it. Alright, so now let's discuss which one should you buy. And I got a couple of examples here. Bravia 7 versus Bravia 9 is the first one I want to start with. Both of these TVs are using mini LED technology, but the Bravia 9 is using a newer mini LED technology. When you put them side by side, how much of a difference is it really? Well, I've seen this in a showroom and I was surprised that this difference isn't that large when you're looking at the 7 versus the 9. So I think that the majority of people that would see these side by side would probably end up picking the cheaper one unless you are a super TV enthusiast and you've decided that you want a mini LED TV and OLED TV is not on your radar. And I want to be clear about that because I do think that for this price, you can get a ridiculously good OLED TV, and that TV will outperform the Bravia 9 in a lot of different areas. And you could say the same thing about the Bravia 7 in regards to the 65-inch size. So this debate has to be you guys have just decided you do not want an OLED. And with that said, the Bravia 7 versus the Bravia 9, I think, again, the majority of the people are probably going to end up wanting to get a Bravia 7 because there is a significant gap in price tag, but not a significant gap in picture quality. Yes, there is less blooming on the Bravia 9. How noticeable is that in actual content? Well, probably not that noticeable for most people. And when you're talking about the brightness levels of this TV, in most scenes, I thought they were almost as bright as each other, and there were only some scenes where the Bravia 9 really did show its strength. And not until I put the TVs into vivid mode did I see the Bravia 9 outshine the Bravia 7, but even then, it wasn't as much as I expected it to be. But when they were in their professional mode, it was so close, and I was surprised by this. So looking at that, it's hard to say, hey guys, go out and buy a Bravia 9 over a Bravia 7. The Bravia 9 does have better viewing angles than the Bravia 7. The Bravia 7 does have somewhat poor viewing angles when it's all said and done. So if you're watching from an angle, that might be a deal breaker for you. But I do want to caution you that it's not perfect on the Bravia 9 either. There are still some viewing angle issues here on the Bravia 9. So if you're really looking for a TV with great viewing angles, you're going to have to look at an OLED TV like the Bravia 8 or the A95L for the best viewing angles, because this is an OLED TV that we're talking about here, and the viewing angles are insane on an OLED TV. Back to the 7 versus 9 though, there is one thing where the 9 is significantly better than the 7 at, and that is going to be the sound quality. The Bravia 9 has some of the best TV speakers that I've ever heard from a Sony TV, so I really think that those looking for inbuilt sound quality definitely look towards the Bravia 9. I've got one more battle here for you, the Bravia 9 versus the A95L, and the reason why I chose these two is because they are the premium TVs for Sony, and a lot of people were thinking that the Bravia 9 was created to overtake the QD-OLED TVs, and I have to tell you that that discussion was very overblown, and Sony never intended it to be that way, and it's clear when you see them side by side, the A95L is a significantly better TV than the Bravia 9. Not only does it have better contrast than the Bravia 9 because it's a self-emissive display, but it's also going to have better color and color brightness than the Bravia 9 as well. If I were to show these two TVs side by side to two people, I think the majority of them would always pick the A95L because it just does look very pure, the contrast is amazing, and you're not going to get that same experience out of the Bravia 9. Now, if you put them into vivid mode and you want to show off the brightness, then the Bravia 9 will outshine the A95L. So maybe if that's something that matters to you, you can consider that within your buying decision. But I will say that for the 85-inch size to be $4,000 and the 77-inch size to be $4,999, that is a significant difference, and I wouldn't blame people for going with the Bravia 9 if you are dead set on getting a Sony TV in the premium category. With all that said, I do recognize that everybody has different reasons to buy their TVs. And if you have a specific question for me regarding the Sony TVs, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer you in a timely manner. If you enjoyed this buying guide, you might enjoy these other buying guides that I made for other brands. And I've also put some of these TVs in the video side by side in an actual TV comparison, so check that out right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.